Bunch of stuff going on. Bunch of stuff. Next couple weeks are going to be pretty tight. Tomorrow I got to do a test game with my Knights in preparation for a tournament the following weekend. I think it's the following weekend. No. Yeah, no. The weekend after next weekend. Apparently, my local group, my local community, kind of starting a little rivalry, I guess, which is always fun. We can get into the painting while we talk about this. It's perfectly fine. Let me just adjust the music for the Twitch side of things. There we go. Hiya. Okay. We've got a lot of the gunmetal to go through, and I think that's where we're going to just kick it for most of today. But yeah, we're starting a kind of like a mini rivalry. Between us and a store that's not far from where we are. There's kind of like two groups of players, and we sort of have a similar spread in skill in practice. There's like a handful of really good players who hit the tournament scene and they're ranked pretty highly and stuff like that. And then a bunch of people who are new, and then a bunch of people who are seasoned, but like me, not really super into pushing too hard to like get way too good at the game. Because like, let's face it, I don't really care that much necessarily about being like, I'm top freaking one. I'm number 1 Thousand Suns player, US or something. Like I don't, not really pressed for that kind of a thing. Let me maybe zoom in, brighten it up a little bit for you guys. Raptor painting is going okay. I keep looking at them and I don't exactly like the results. I feel like some of the paints I've applied are a little too thick. A little too odd. It's either that or the sculpts. Like the old sculpts, I'm just not super into. I don't know. I still want to get them together because I'd rather hit the ground running when the actual Raptors rules drops. I'd rather do that than have to like buy the whole new box and then deal with it that way. I think the main thing is I don't like the Bleak Brotherhood color scheme. I feel like it's almost too much of a cop-out. Like, it just doesn't look interesting to me when it's all together. Oh, is it? Well, okay. Which ones? Which Raptors are they? Are they the ones with the shower curtain wings, or are they the ones with the giant jet engines that kind of go up over top of their backs? Because I know they had two variants. I had an entire squad of the shower curtain version, and then I had the jet engine version. I can't remember. Oh, okay. So yeah, it was 4th edition when those got released. Okay. So the ones I had, I painted as like Harlequins. Like I did them in patchwork coloring. I don't know why at the time I thought that was a fun idea, but they were like teal and orange. I kind of like these jetpacks. I just don't like the physical like model itself. Like they're just not that interesting to me. We were going to work on the basing today, but the component I ordered from Amazon that we're going to try with basing didn't come in. And it's something I want to test out before I get my hands on the new Necron team to paint them for my buddy. I don't know how familiar you are with, like, weird fake ice. Normally they're used for, like, events like weddings or, like, New Year's or something. It's acrylic, like, little chunks that you would put in your drinks to kind of give them, like, a different feel, right? Like, something a little more interesting than it just being, like, ice in a beverage. So I ordered a ton of obsidian fake ice, and it's like small acrylic chunks. My idea is we're gonna mix a color into the crackle paste that I have, and then we're going to glue down some acrylic ice pieces onto these bases, the obsidian ice bricks, and then we're gonna kind of do the crackle paste either built up to them, or I'm going to do the crackle paste down and then I'm going to put glue on the acrylic ice and then try to shove it through the crackle. Because I want it to look like they're on a planet that just has like this weird obsidian stuff on it. And it's going to kind of play into the plan for the visual quality of the Necrons I'm going to be building. So I ordered some like 3 days ago, and apparently the overnight delivery meant over 2 to 3 nights delivery, so that's where we're at. Because, yeah, that's going to mostly be for the Necrons, but I kind of like the idea with my Raptors. Oh, thank you. We are slowly working on the new team. It'll be interesting to see what the rules replacements are for them, kind of like how the stealth suits came in. To my understanding, Tau players are saying the new stealth suit rules are bad compared to like what they had up till now from their codex. So like that kind of sucks. We'll have to see what the Raptors equate to. if they even change anything, honestly. Because if you look at the models and you look at kind of like what's going on, it is a Chaos Jump Pack Lord. So like they're not, I don't think they're changing the Jump Pack Lord rules because of the new Raptors. I don't think that's happening. So there's always the chance that you're still getting the same old Raptors, you're still getting the same old Warp Talons. You're just going to need to buy new sculpts if you want new sculpts. I highly doubt they're going to effectively put the team rule into 40k where a squad of Raptors can pick up and move a squad in game. But yeah, from the 40k side, for those who know 40k, again, in 3 weekends from now, I got a big tournament, apparently a big rivalry that's been forming between us and a collectibles store about an hour away. They're putting on a pretty big Rogue Trader tournament. 40 people. There will be 40 people at this event. I signed up for it when a few people left, like a couple people bailed on it. So there were some spots that opened up and I grabbed one. So from my local club, there's going to be about 10 people going. 10, 15, something like that. And then from that area, the local club, it's like 10, 15 people. So among the 40, there's going to be like a half and half between our two clubs. And we consist of like highly competitive people. I don't know if you guys watch Tactical Tortoise, but recently he did an overview video about a Necron, or not a Necron, Jesus, a Tyrannid team from someone named John Work. So that's JW. He is one of our more prolific local competitive players that are consistently nearby. A few of the other prolific local players are usually a little bit busy, so they don't always get to make it out to the games that we put on. But they're also really good at the game. Because again, the local area near me is ridiculous for high quality players. It's just insane. So the Kill Team League that recently opened up and started doing tournaments once every like month or so, the guy running it won the Northeast Kill Team launch tournament. Like the major one. He just went to the major one with an Angels of Death Kill Team and won. And we're starting to get a pretty like effective local scene for Kill Team with people who know what they're doing. I played against a Brood Brothers player who genuinely knew what he was doing. Like, playing into him, like, he was actively choosing who on his side was going to die so that he could overcome my numbers as Chaos Cults. It was a crazy back and forth game. I did make some play errors, absolutely. For some reason, my brain spaced on the fact that we were playing in Gallowdark, and I didn't take any barricades. Which, for a melee team, is not a good idea. Like, that was a huge mistake by me. But yeah, Tactical Tortoise did a pretty long video, and the first person he talked about for a Tyrannid list that won an event was one of our guys. And we're gonna go hit up a pretty decent tournament. This is the Noise Marine head. This is the Screecher. Among the new Raptors, there is a specialist who sounds like kind of like a noise-based fighter. I'm imagining he's going to do something involving like AP reduction, controlling objectives, stuff like that. So I took the pistols and I put the little pistol heads on the sides for his vents. And then I gave him a noise marine head with the little screamy mouth. Oh, dude, noise marine heads look really good on Raptors. I was looking through a few of them and I was like, man. Actually, I think I have another. Yeah. So this is the freaking kit bash for the cursed, the one that's supposed to be like kind of a demon. I gave him a noise marine head, the one that's kind of like bald but with spikes. But yeah, noise marine heads look great on Raptors, which kind of adds insult to injury, I guess. The fact that Slaanesh doesn't have like a lot of units to choose from. It would be really cool if we had Raptors, although I completely understand why we don't, because the Raptors would probably move 13 inches. And with the ability to advance and charge, I mean, I feel like every list in the entire game would have them. There's a reason they took that away from us. They have to try to make Emperor's Children strong without having units that are passively quick. That's like a big thing. Which kind of sucks, because I was really hoping Chaos Space Marine bikes were going to get relaunched with the Emperor's Children. But we didn't get bikes, so here we are. Oh yeah, dude, I was praying for Doom Rider. Praying for Doom Rider. Give us 3 named characters right off the rip. Lucius, Fulgrim, Doom Rider. The idea is that they would be like Centaur-esque, right? Like it would be the lower half would be like a bike. Like the bottom half of their model would just be like either a sort of uniwheel, or they would be on like the front of a motorcycle. God, that would be so cool. It would be so cool. I feel like we're going to have to go back into the sword to fix it up. Sort of as we go. I still like my EC. I prefer my EC way more than I prefer my Thousand Suns right now. I really hate where the Thousand Suns got taken after their codex released. Because they felt good. They felt a little overtuned at times. And now they just feel terrible. And I was talking with some of the like highly competitive players about it, and like as we were talking, they were bringing stuff up where they were like, "Oh yeah, but you have this," and I was like, "No, that got taken away." And like every single time I brought that up, they were like, "Dude, what the hell happened? What the hell happened with the Thousand Suns?" I was like, "I don't know, man. All I know is it's not good." I have kind of a list in mind for my Thousand Suns, but like, don't know if it's gonna work or not. Got to make some reassessments is a key thing. Like the combo of using your Zangors with a Terminator Sorcerer Lord and the Zangor detachment. It's kind of out the window a little bit. I mean, it's still kind of there, but technically you could just go in with a like an Infernal Master or something. You don't have to do a Terminator Sorcerer Lord anymore. It's just too sad to think about. End of the day, I'm probably going to just do an Armored Thousand Suns list. Because I think right now, where most of the players are, it's... You either play stat check Terminators, or like... There's really not... Either that or you're playing that, or like a Magnus list, where all it takes is one bad spell phase and it's over. That's it. Like... You pop out with all your stuff to do all your spells, and then they all fail, and it's like, well, good game. Handshake, move on. It's just so sad. They were so cool. There does feel like there's a genuine fear, though, with Games Workshop overpowering them, because, to my understanding, the last edition that came out, they were really powerful when they first dropped, because I believe they were one of like the first codexes that dropped, so they had all the new rules, and not a lot of other armies did, so they had access to like a ton of really cool stuff for like a couple months, and they felt really strong because of it. And then, you know, that all got taken away. So. Or rather, it, other team rules came out, and it just made the Thousand Suns team rule seem worthless. And I think by the end of the day, there was like one guy that had a good list near the end of 9th. I remember his list too. It sounded kind of cool. It utilized demon allies to like drastically enhance its outgoing power, and you just took a ton of MSU units so you could get as many Cabal points as possible to spend on things. I remember watching him almost win a major. But yep, Thousand Suns feel weird, which is why I'm taking Chaos Knights to the tournament early December. I played a list similar to what I'm taking at this like kind of like mid-tier RTT. And I did so well in every single game that I played that I assumed all the units and everything I was using were going to get nerfed, right? Like, that was my assumption. Immediately after playing, I was just like, oh, all this is going to get taken away from me. They gotta nerf this. There's no way they keep it going the way they did. So I kind of hung it up, expecting the nerf and then the reassessment after the nerf to see like what else I wanted to build or what else I wanted to run. And it never came. Like, they still haven't really... I think they changed the point values a little bit. Like, I lost, I want to say, 1 War Dog. Which, yeah, sure. That's a fair bit of wounds, a fair bit of ability to do missions. But everything else is still about where it was. So I might have to no shame play my Chaos Knights at this tournament. I think it'll be a good idea. We're doing Infernal Lance. Infernal Lance isn't common. Most people do Traitorous. But as an Emperor's Children player, Infernal Lance kind of feeds into my need. My need for speed. Infernal Lance is one of the few detachments where you can have models on the field that can normal move 17 inches. You heard me. Fulgrim speed. As knights. It's pretty crazy. And those same models have built-in reroll charges. So one of the common things I did in that first tournament was I had 3 carnivores staring at people like 5 inches from them, and then I would just charge in, turn 1, slaughter like all the scoring units. Force the hammer units to have to stay back and try to do missions. It is so brutal. We'll see how it works out, though. I do wish I was still playing Thousand Suns for this tournament, but I have to be, I guess, definitive in my opinion that I think I'm going to stick with Chaos Knights. Because if I last minute switch over to Thousand Suns, the detachment I would go is the mechanized detachment. Because the mechanized detachment has a bunch of built-in rules that don't require like second stage things to occur. Which, that's kind of the key difference, I think, between a good tournament detachment and a bad one. Is if there's a bunch of things that can go wrong that make it so the things you need don't happen. Right? Like, it's one thing in a Chaos Space Marine list to fail the leadership check, because then you just take some wounds, right? But you still get the benefit. You'll still gain the sustain or the lethal or whatever you need off of it. You still get it. And that's fine. And my Vashdor list greatly enjoys that kind of an outcome where it's all like +1 to wound and blah, blah, blah. And it's just great. But most of the detachments that the Thousand Suns have are like, oh, you failed the test, you don't get your benefit. It's like, oh, alright. Guess I'm screwed then. Which is why everyone leans into things like Phalanx, because Phalanx's benefit is just passive. But I do think the Armored Division has some play, because it's good. I feel like you might need to lean into Defilers, though, a little bit more than usual. Which not a lot of people have. Because Defilers are a terrible model. Defilers on my list of models that need... is basically like top 2 on my list of models that need an update. It's them and Hellbrutes. And the main reason I want Hellbrutes to get an update is because I'm hoping it will bring Hellbrutes to other situations. They'll like reassess the Hellbrute, right? Because, let's face it, the Hellbrute rules, not that great, not that impressive. I think the only Hellbrute that people really like goes into the World Eaters list. such a good Hellbrute. But honestly, what they probably need to do with Hellbrutes is sell a single box that comes with variants for pretty much every single faction. Right? Like, maybe there's like a Psyker variant Hellbrute for the Thousand Sons that you can take. There's like a Noise variant Hellbrute for the Emperor's Children. There's like the melee-focused Hellbrute for World Eaters. And then maybe there's like a weapons platform for Chaos Space Marines. And then there's the Plague variant with like a specialty like Flamer or something. And then that's it. Because like, consider that the current Hellbrute setup is like, do you want a Heavy Bolter? Do you want a hammer? Do you want lashes? Do you want 2 fists? Do you want those fists to have flamers? Do you want those fists to have guns? Do you want missiles? Do you want a plasma cannon? Do you want a multi-melta? Do you, like, the list goes on, and you look at it. Like, you physically look at it in the rules, and you go, why would you give me any of these options when only, like, one is good? Like, that's how it always plays out. Is there's just like so many options for something that doesn't need that many options. I feel like that must have come from a time in Warhammer where like individualizing and customizing was a way more important concept. But like 10th edition kind of walked away from that a little bit, but then kept it with the Hellbrutes, even though the rules for them aren't that great. Yeah, man, like, so in 5th edition, when I was playing 5th edition, they relaunched the Dreadnought. They finally launched Chaos Dreadnoughts in plastic. That was like a big thing. Because I had 3 Dreadnoughts. And then the Forge World dropped upgrade kits. Because there were variants. There were variants for the Dreadnoughts. You could get a Noise Marine style Dreadnought. Its main gun was a variable weapon, like Noise Marine style weapon, where it would go between like a more rapid action Heavy Bolter. Like instead of 3 shots, it'd be like 6 or 8 or something at Heavy Bolter tier. And then the plasma cannon would just be like a better plasma cannon. That would be your Noise variant Slaneshi Dreadnought. And I loved that. I loved that about the old system for the Dreadnoughts. Now we have Hellbrutes, which look like they have issues with full diapers, and their weapon choices aren't that great. They could just make it so it's like, all right, you have a Thousand Sons Dreadnought. It has a Power Fist and then a Force Weapon, and it's a Psyker. And it comes with these abilities. And it's like, wow, that's cool. He's close range. He's kind of a mage. That's awesome. And it would justify the extremely high points value. But right now, all I'm doing with mine is I have a Hellbrute Fist with a Flamer. And I have the Tendrils. Because the Tendrils are like one of the best anti-infantry things in the game. It's like 12 attacks when you have double melee. And they're spec'd to kill Space Marines. So, like, that's awesome. That's just way too good. I'm surprised they kind of screwed up how they work, though, for Thousand Sons. The upgrade they gave them, it used to be that you'd get like a Cabal point refund if you used a spell near it. So they had kind of an interaction with the army rule, and I was like, okay, maybe that'll happen going forward, because I mean, that's the Chaos Space Marine variant is the same way. It provides both benefits to the things that utilize the upgrades rather than just a choice. So that's pretty cool. So I assumed the re-release, I guess, or the the Codex update version of the Thousand Suns Hellbrute would be something kind of similar. It would provide us with like a little bit of a benefit for our spell casting, but no. The way it works is if it shoots something, that thing takes a battle shock. And if the thing that takes the battle shock is within a certain range of a sorcerer, it takes it at -1. So I run them in my demons detachment because blue horrors further reduce leadership by 1. But that's all I can think of doing with them. I'm going to have to pack tonight, now that I'm thinking about it. Because if I'm going to go stay at my buddy's house on top of all this and we're going to play again, one of our friends wants to try some of my armies instead of the armies he's been playing. He's been borrowing my one buddy's custodes, but he was like, let me try one of yours. So I'm sitting here and I'm looking at like Gene Stealer Cult, and I'm like, I don't want him to never want to play 40k again, so let's not do Gene Stealer Cult. So I gotta pack some Thousand Sun stuff, I guess. I'll probably take those with me. I gotta take my knights to play the game tomorrow. That'll be good. I don't want to take my Emperor's Children box with me again. Oh, I got to experience pure clapback, though, with my Emperor's Children. We're doing 2v2s, 1,000 points each for all the players involved. So I built a list that was like Noise Marines and Demonettes in the Carnival, so that it's Noise Marines sustaining on 5s. And I basically just held them at the back end. And my buddy went Sisters. And he kind of built a pokey proddy points capture list. And all we did was we made it so that the enemy had to like come forward. And we just unleashed the clapback of the century with freaking 2 squads of Noise Marines just unloading. Took out Trajan and his squad. Took out a Blade Master and his squad. That was crazy. I think I'll let my friend play Knights, though. Some point here I might take a break, pull up, I want to say New Recruit, and then I'll show you guys my Knights list. We can go over things. Let me double check that New Recruit's still a website. I thought one website got shut down. I don't know if it was New Recruit or not. I wish it was easy to use the 40k app on PC, because I got the list built just in the app. If I could pull it up easy, that'd be great. I just get worried every time I pull up one of those Android emulation programs. And it's like, yeah, give us your email. For Emperor's Children? So the demon rule is if you're attacking as long as the demons are within 6 inches of you and you're within 6 inches of the demons with your Emperor's Children, you get sustain 1. If you already have sustain 1, it counts sustains as criticals on 5s. So you have a line of demonettes in front of your noise marines, because the demonettes have fights first, so they're a good body block unit. But then, yeah, you give your noise marines the cacophonist, giving them sustain 1, so now they have sustains on 5s as the upgrade. Usually at full scale, I'll also try to put Fulgrim in, because Fulgrim has sustain 1 as well, and if you can get demons near him when he goes, oh, it's so good. Let me check new recruit. Maybe we take a break. Doing trim is not fun. Yeah, you have to take Cacophonist in the demon detachment. You can't do what John Lennon does with his Emperor's Children, where he keeps the Noise Marines back until he has enough points to then send them out with lethals on 5s with rerolls. Actually, no, it's sustains on 5. Is it sustains on 5s? What the hell do they get? They get good stuff. What the hell does that freaking detachment get? Coterie. I never use it. I know it's good, but like I just never use it. Create list. Chaos Knights. Take a quick look at Coterie. So you do get the hit rerolls of 1, wound rerolls of 1. Then you get lethal hits, sustained hits, and then it's crit on 5. But it's only melee weapons. Melee weapons equipped by this model in this unit have lethal and sustain. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack, a critical hit is scored. So I guess you still need Cacophonist. I think John Lennon only uses 1 Cacophonist, though. Which means the rest of his squads don't have sustain or lethal. And it is only melee weapons that get them. That's weird. I mean, the rerolls are nice. Hold, please. Right monitor. Fade. There we go. So, my Chaos Knights list for the tournament, as it stands right now, that's coming up in like 3 weeks. So it's early December. It's like 3 weekends. It's next weekend, this weekend, next weekend, and then the tournament. So the way I'm running this list is a Tyrant, a Rampager, and a Despoiler. And then 3 Carnivores. Here we are. No? Maybe? Oh, here we are. 1, 2, 3. And then 2 Stalkers. Detachment is Infernal. The Tyrant is technically the Warlord. 2 Guy Strikes, 1 Twin Desecrator, so that's set. Brimstone. Yep, good. Rampager should be all set. There's no variance. Despoiler is Ruin Spear. Gatling. Melty Gun for the funsies. 4 is, of course, Havoc. 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 Havoc's all around, baby. Havoc. Havoc. Upgrades. So for the Tyrant, let me figure out which one's which. This should be Flesh Metal Fusion. Rampager should be Knight Diabolus. The Despoiler should be Bestial Aspect. 1960. Yep. There we go. So this is the list. 3 bigs, 5 littles. So it's a little bit like you have to be careful. Sort of. Because the end game is that the Rampager should be shoved all the way into the opponent's backline, hopefully by turn 4 or 3. The Despoiler should be sitting somewhere in midfield, holding down that objective while the Tyrant holds your home, if the home needs to be held. For those who don't know, the Chaos Tyrant has the 12-inch anti-reserve rule, and that is a very large base. So it is very hard to bring anything in when a Knight Tyrant's on the field. You can kind of stand on the short edge of the board. You can kind of stand to the Tyrant in the middle, and it basically covers to each edge of the board. So that's pretty fun. The Knight Rampager, of course, he gets 12-inch move, I believe. Yeah, it's 12-inch move. I should probably go over what the detachment does. So this is the detachment. What happens is in every one of my command phases, I go down the line of all my Chaos Knights, right? I decide which ones are going to take the Malefic Surge test, which is just a leadership check. Little Knights are leadership 7, unless they're within range of the Despoiler, giving them leadership 6. Everyone else is, of course, leadership 6. If you fail it, you take damage. You still get the bonus. This is the big difference between this list and my Chaos lists, or my Thousand Suns list, where if you take a test and you fail it, you don't get a bonus. So you'll still get the bonus of being able to add 3 inches to the move, right? During your normal advance or fallback, you can just add 3 inches. It makes the buff go away. You can, once per overall battle round, pay a command point at the top of any phase to pick one of your units to make this test again to get the buff back. So with, like, let's say the Rampager, I could run 15 inches through a wall, hopefully not get battle shocked on the 1, and then at the top of, let's say, the fight phase, re-Malefic Surge to then activate Diabolic Power on it, giving it lethal hits on top of the sustained hits it already comes with and the dev wounds it gets from the charge, while simultaneously, from its upgrade, I wonder if it says the upgrade here. No, it doesn't. Why would it not say the... Okay, whatever. While under the effect of that combat, right? Oh, no. Rampager. While under the effect of that combat benefit, it also has Lance. So it's +1 to wound on top of it if it charged. This is kind of a wash. This is a waste. The more I looked into it, the more I found that since he hits on 2s in melee anyway, this doesn't affect him, like, at all. It's not a +1 to hit, it's a weapon skill increase, and you can't really increase the weapon skill to 1 as far as I think the FAQs talked about. You always miss on a 1 regardless, but I also think the FAQ said you can't increase your weapon skill to a 1. So I'm going to double check it. I'm pretty sure that's the case, though, so when I get bracketed or if I get hit with -1 to hit, then I'm still hitting on 3s rather than 2s. But yeah, a fully souped up Rampager. Lethal, sustain, dev, with Lance after a 15-inch move. Ta-da! And then the last thing you can do is you pop it when it's targeted by an attack until the end of the overall phase. You get a 5-up invuln, which you probably like, well, they already have that. They only have that in ranged. They don't have that in melee. So this gives me a 5-up invuln in melee, which is great. On top of that, I think they changed this because it's select 1 now. You used to be able to just pop it and get the invuln and the feel no pain, to my understanding. But now you can pick and choose. So if I do it in shooting, I can add a 6-up feel no pain on top of my 5-up invuln, which I could spend a command point and go to a 4-up invuln with one of my ploys. So like, super durable. And super fun. Because again, all knights can have this buff. So you got your Rampager with its 12-inch move that goes to 15, which is crazy. And then all this nonsense. You just pick one of these profiles. Even strength 20. If you're going into something with huge toughness and you're like, I need to kill it with this 8 damage over here, which I think is... Did they not say D6? Did they just tell you the maximum? Was it 8? Is my brain forgetting things already? Oh, it's straight up 8. So yeah, you just run into like a big tank with high toughness, and then you get your Lance Sustain Lethal Dev for 8 damage. So hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. Ugh. Dude, it's so brutal. That is so brutal. 26 wounds on these. Toughness 11. Oh. So crazy. So stupid crazy. I love it. Despoiler. This is kind of the backbone of the team. When I played it originally, like, this was the reason I won every game. So if you use it right, you're good. 10-inch move up to 13. Probably not worth it because the upgrade this thing takes gives it assault. So you can just advance. You don't have to do anything else. You just advance through walls or something. If you need to do a mission, that's a whole other story, but like, you can advance. But the main thing is this. You get 2 of these. 36-inch range, 18 attacks each, so 36 attacks in total. Hitting on 3s, AP 2, damage 2, strength 6. So this comes with assault. You buff this unit, and then you'll activate it with the buff for whatever you're shooting at. Like, let's say you're shooting at something that's like really durable. If you really need to kill a monster, you can declare the buff to be lethal. And then you've got 36 attacks, lethal, AP2 damage 2. And in this detachment, in the shooting phase, you can spend a command point before firing with this thing to declare that this also gets ignore benefit of cover, which makes this horrifying into almost anything on the field. AP2, ignore benefit of cover with sustained or lethal. So crazy. The alternative benefit for the upgrade that this thing gets in its enhancement is when you use it for movement, you can ignore negative move effects, which, I don't really care that much. And then, of course, when you activate lethal or sustained, it's not just for a single weapon profile. It's for all of it. What is the assault profile? Assault weapons. If used advanced this turn, any models with the assault weapon is still eligible to shoot. Oh, okay. So it's kind of built in already. Oh! Are they just applying it? No, they shouldn't be applying it. Let me make sure this is right. The bearer's ranged weapons have the assault ability, while the bearer's using unholy hunger can ignore. No, yeah, it's fine. So that's fun. And then the Tyrant. Oh, I love this one. They do upgrade. So yeah, this is changed. I don't know why they didn't put Assault in the information for the cannons. That's weird. Because they added this because of the upgrade. That's weird. Don't like it. Something's a little off. Either way, his upgrade gives him T13. So better than las cannons. Extra good. The other part of his upgrade is if I pop it for defensive, if you're hitting me with 1 damage attacks, my armor increases by 1 against him. So if you're running at me with like 100 little AP nothing damage 1 attacks or whatever, I can go up to a 2+. It's great. It's very, very small scale on the benefit, but it's really good. And then, of course, you get your ridiculous weapon, strength 20, AP 5, D6 plus 8 blast, 60-inch D3 attacks. There is value on this guy to activate sustain if you can. Normally, I would probably hold it for a defensive buff. But if you can activate it, I would, you know, just kind of like go sustain specifically for this. Pick one of the plasma cannon variants. Try to destroy something with sustained with it. And then see if you get any benefits with the brimstone off of it. It's okay. It's not the best, but it's okay. This guy sits back. He sits back in your home base. He can stay on your main objective, force it to sticky in your command phase, and then just wander off. And everything's really cool. As long as he keeps people away from your anywhere he needs to like prevent people from coming in. Because I do feel like we're going to get into a lot of teams like Retaliation Cadre from the Tau. We're going to get into Subterranean Assault. We're going to get into a few teams at this tournament that rely on uppy downy, and I think this guy genuinely like makes that annoying for so many people. And then of course he has anti-Titanic with dev wounds on D6 plus 1 with 2 missile shots. So good. So good. He's anti other Titans. It's fantastic. Love it. The main reason though that this detachment really works is this. Carnivores. That's a 14-inch move. That's really good. +3 when you pop the move increase. So 17-inch movement. It's Fulgrim speed on this thing with its sustain 1s built in, so you don't have to really care too much about leaning into lethal hits. Its attacks are okay. It's statted to be okay into like stuff, like general things. But yeah, you just rush this thing across the field and just start going ham on some enemy units. Threat range is massive. Your opponent needs to be able to trade with these effectively, or else you're going to lose. And then last but not least, the Stalker with its built-in Scout 6. I cannot forget the Scout 6 rule. That makes these things so useful. 12-inch move. Their passive ability is if an enemy unit is outside of 6 inches of an ally to themselves, all of my attacks get +1 to the wound roll. Which, when you're rocking a strength 6, 12 attack, 24-inch range cannon, and even the missiles on top of it, like, you're rolling 2s into most things, or 3s into some durable units with this. It's super nice. I'm trying to remember. It's not showing me their general rule. Because I can't remember if it's shooting or melee. Because if it's melee as well, on top of it, you catch a tank off guard with a strength 12, AP 3, D6 plus 2 melee. Even though it's only 4 attacks, still you're hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s. Not bad. Not bad at all. Each one makes an attack. The target, yeah, just an attack. It doesn't matter if it's melee or ranged. But yeah, 5 units with indirect long-range blast attack weaponry. So I can at least apply pressure to things. Like if somebody's trying to hide grots somewhere, I can just be like, all right, I'm shooting this thing, and then I'm shooting the grots on top of it with the Havoc multi-launchers. And just clear grots. Like, this is how you outplay an orc, is just making it so they can't hold objectives on the back line anymore. I don't imagine I'm going to win, but I imagine I'm going to surprise some people. And that is key for me. It is very key. Back to painting. Should be fun. Should be. I never fancied myself a Knights player. I kind of owned Knights more as like an ally option. And as sort of like a... I'm not feeling mentally up to snuff, so I kind of want to just play a stat checklist and not really like care too much about too many rules overlaps and stuff. Because that's kind of the other thing I need to get ready for with these guys. I need to get my printouts done that show what bonuses I'm using. That way I can just have them on hand. Kind of hoping to go into a lot of guardsman lists. That way I can do the take battle shocks when you're below starting strength. Just rush up my frickin' dogs and just start forcing that. Built-in -1 leadership. Built-in forced battle shocks below starting. Go. I do need to look into Toroxes, though. I've watched a few live games, and I feel like a lot of the really good IG lists I've been seeing are like bulk Toroxes. Do need to make absolutely certain to get to the store tomorrow at 11. The person I'm going to be playing against is on a short clock, but he'll be there at open. I do really need to get this game in. Possibly another later in the day, depending. We both play fairly quickly if we're not... If, like, I'm not paralyzed by decision making. That was always a problem with some of my other lists I've been playing against him with, is where, like, I'll get to a point where I'm looking at the field and I've got, like, a million choices and they all suck. And I'm just trying to navigate to the one that sucks the least. chat to anyone still here, because it is 3 o'clock, which means almost everyone watching vanishes. If there was one unit in the game that you could change either their look or their play style, like their general rules, or both, which one would you choose? For me, I think maybe the Enlightened with spears. Because I kind of get what they were supposed to be. But for most people right now, all they are is something like 70 points worth of, you know, go here, perform action. And that's it. Like, it's their end game. Go here, perform action. I kind of liked the idea of them being like the melee for the Thousand Suns. Not like incredible melee, but tactically okay melee. I do feel like maybe they need something built in to allow them to be like way better effective at certain things. Like, oh, if they attack monsters or vehicles, +1 to hit. Just build that in. They get their lance, but then the goal is to go for very specific units. I don't know why someone's using a leaf blower. There's not a lot of leaves down in this area. I feel like they got them all recently. The build up to Big Hammer can be daunting. Absolutely. I do like playing it, but I definitely prefer skirmish scale kill team. Definitely prefer skirmish scale. It's just more manageable, if I'm being honest. Oh, nice. It's Orkin time. Some of the people who have talked in our local Discord about, like, going to this tournament in, like, a couple weekends from now are people who, like, they don't, right? Like, I never see them play. And when I do, it's, like, very rarely. Like they'll play like once every 3 months. And they're like, I'll see you guys at the tournament. It's like, whoa, dude, all right. Like, this is actually genuinely interesting. This idea of, like, the built-up store rivalries coming to a head at this 40-person tournament. Apparently, part of the reason is because one of the guys that goes to our store doesn't do, like, the tournaments up near us. But the first tournaments he ever went to was at this location. Like, this, the place we're going. And I remember, apparently, he, like, came back afterwards, and he was talking about it, and he was talking about how, like, he basically just stomped people. At the like, he had a really good record and score, and we were like, uh-oh. Because he had that kind of internal monologue of, like, oh, I'm feeling really good. And now there is kind of, like, a level with the rest of us of, like, this is going to be, like, maybe too easy, but at the very least we did see that there were a few people who were big into tournaments showing up this time, so should have a fun spread of people. Playing Rekka's in kill team. Got the new Rekka team. I'm interested in Rekka's. I didn't get to play them at this last tournament because I didn't do that well. Chaos cults are hard. I like Chaos Cults, but goddamn, they are hard. Ooh. While you're there, you can hype it up. Anyone comes over and watches or something. Work towards building that local scene. Start your own Discord. Make it happen. Rekkas sound cool. I love the idea that a Rekka could just be like, yo dog, I killed your unit, but also add one to your kill op VP because I also lost my guy as well. Like, that's so fun. You can't be sad against orcs. Even when I get green tided in Big Hammer, I feel like, it's fine. Like, I just can't feel bad about interacting with orcs. I think I played my salvagers into the old commandos, and I got shredded. Salvagers, I gotta figure out salvagers if I want to play them. But I don't think I do, honestly. Like, once Raptors drop, I'm probably gonna be hyper focused on Raptors. The only thing I was debating was picking up Jaegers. Because Jaegers play like Space Marine scouts, but with like crazy guns. They are near impossible to overpower in close quarters as well. Like the condensed terrain setups, because they get like everything they have is like blast, right? That's the main reason why. The main reason why I think Mandrakes did so well is if there was ever a close quarters situation during the tournament, like you have one guy who has an insanely good blast attack, and then you have the team-wide ability to take an equipment that gives one of your guys blast as well. So, like, you just have the ability to be like, I think I need my lethal 5s here. Commandos, I feel like you don't rely on the guns as much. Like, you do, to a degree, you do. But the fact that they come with charge from conceal, I feel like you try to take just, like, good melee warriors in there. Like, you want to have, like, a small handful of good melee warriors to just go sit near objectives and be like, alright, step out. Step out, let's see what happens. You're going to go to that wall real quick and have me run out, charge you, and... You know, you do need the threat. You do need the ranged threat, because there's always that chance, right? And it's a valid strategy when you're playing against teams that can charge from conceal. There's the valid strategy idea of if there's like a piece of terrain and you're trying to use it, because normally you're like, oh, I don't want to get shot. But if your enemy's bulk, like, charge from conceal, and that's what they're focusing on, I mean, I'll end my move completely away from terrain in a way where if they get charged, the person with the gun, like, over here can clearly see them. Right? Like, that's what I want. I want people to be like, alright, you're going here, you're gonna get shot. Like, that kind of situation. But, like, if you've got that one really good gun on the commando side and they have to make the decision, it's not good. Smoke nade is really good, yeah. Because they're boys. The regular boys get smoke, right? Like, they're standard soldiers. Just like, you get an extra smoke if you wish. You can use it, like, once per overarching turn. It's so good. That's actually one thing I didn't do well enough with the cultists. I do feel like cultists want to use smoke. I do. I just don't use it that well. Like, that's where I'm falling very short on my cultists. Is their use of tactical grenades and stuff. Because you definitely... I feel like you definitely want the equipment that gives you the ability to just a scratch once per game for free. And that's, like, super useful. But beyond that point, it comes down to, like, what the hell else do we really want? And I think barricades, smoke grenades, those gotta be higher up. I did like, after someone brought up the idea that the demagogue gets the benefit from the radio, I played in Beta Decima, and I put a barricade up top, and then I put the radio nearby, so that I was able to put my demagogue up top on something and conceal. And then I just made it so that she had like a 12-inch range to tell people to dash, charge, fight. Like, that was the whole thing. Like, she could just do that. So that was pretty cool. The cultist kill team is cultists, demagogues, and then a cursed cultist. It's 3 boxes that I think are like $60 each. So it's a bit expensive if you get them. If you have them all, that's fine. Definitely try them. They're pretty fun. It's one of the few ramp teams that exist in the game. Because cultists are good and all, but the main thing is getting them to torment tier. Because a single torment can fairly easily kill very difficult to kill things. Like, one of the people at the tournament I went to was playing Goremongers. And Goremongers are very good in melee. Like, holy crap, they are so good at melee. And turn 2, My opponent got the initiative, opened the door to one of my torments, and then figured he had it, right? Like, because Goremongers are good at melee, and it's awesome. So he opened the door, fought my torment, lost a Goremonger. Straight up. My torment was like at half, and I killed a Goremonger. And in that moment, he was like, I might lose this. The thing is, I made a massive misplay, because again, I'm learning the cultists. The other door that I really should have blocked, I didn't block. I kind of let it ride. So he managed to open the door, kill the mutant that I had blocking it, and then recharge into someone else and kill that. Like, it was brutal, man. I lost, like, everything on one flank in one turn. Had I gone the original method in my brain of putting a torment on each side of the map, like, right away, I probably could have held my own and then possibly even won that mission. But it's a learning experience. It's probably my second game of playing cultists. I think it was my second. Yeah, because my first was... I technically played against that same person at an event he threw at his house for people coming together and playing the game. Yeah, cultists are super fun. I hope we get something cult-like before the cultists get kicked. But the cultists aren't going to get kicked for 2 years. They got pushed into the Beta Decima release schedule. I was kind of hoping the Tyranid team we were going to get was going to kind of work like cultists. Me and my buddy talked about it on the channel on YouTube. We were really hoping to experience a Tyranid kill team where you would get a kill and then you could kind of like pick a buff for that unit that killed to just have. So there's like these mini mutation systems. I think we brought that up before Chaos Cults became a thing. I can't remember. Oh yeah, man. Build that group. Build that local. The one buddy we have that we've been trying to get back into tabletop gaming, like, he recently had his 40th birthday surprise party. And we've been trying to get him back in to the point where, like, I think everyone's been trying to get him back in, actually. Even, like, we didn't know at the time, like, we didn't bring this up with anyone, but I think for Christmas last year, someone gave him the Hyrotech Kill Team box. Because he borrowed my Hyrotech once and we played a game and he loved them. He loved that whole like necromancer approach. The slow and purposeful and all that cool stuff. So he talked about it and I guess someone bought him the Hyrotech box. He came over for our New Year's event that we were running. And was like, oh, what else do I need to get? And then one of our buddies had left a Necron. It was the box I think called Dominus. It had the Necron stuff in it. So we went to go grab that and we literally got him all that he needed in terms of immortals. So he would have a full plethora of immortal options with both gun variants. We then got him 2 Despotech models, so he could have both gun variants on the Despotech. There were 2 other champion characters in that box that they weren't the ones from Hyrotech, but like, it's whatever, honestly. As long as you have like the smaller base variant than the one that comes with Hyrotech, you can easily just call it whichever champion you want. So we got him all that, assuming he was going to put it together and start talking to us about playing. But then, like, his life got out of control again. Just, like, work and everything. So he hasn't painted them. So now we're getting him Canoptic, and I'm painting the Canoptic for him. I think we're going to get it this weekend, I want to say. Hopefully we get it while I'm over there, because then I can just bring it back here. And that... We might put my Raptors on hold for painting, because, I mean, we're not getting their rules anytime soon. We're getting... stealth suits, soon-ish. We'll probably get the Raptors rules and the new Sisters rules. I think, yeah, it's the new Sisters rules with the Raptors. We'll probably get them in January, so I don't really need to finish painting these anytime soon. Which is kind of fine. I'd rather paint up his Canoptic so that he could just get into games with us. He says he's free on Saturdays. So my big thing is I kind of want to... The one local league that's now starting to hold tournaments. Their tournaments are currently on Sundays, but the shop owner is talking to them. Because the Sundays... the Sunday time is short. So we try to pack in 4 games on Sunday in like 2-hour spurts. It is... so brutal. The burnout is so bad. So the store owner was like, look, you guys are actually getting a lot of people to come out to this. It's pretty consistent. You should probably just do Saturdays. And the guy's thinking about it. And if the guy does Saturdays, I might be able to talk my buddy into showing up for Saturday tournaments. That would be absolutely peak. Would be ideal. Get him coming out for tourneys. Because he did it, the last tournament he did was 5th edition, 40K. I helped him for, I want to say, 2 days straight. Talking over the phone to him to build a Tyranid army. No, dude, 4 games in a row. I swear to God, after those 4 games in a row, when I got home and finished my editing for the night for my job, I think the next day I didn't wake up till like 1 p.m. I was done. My brain was over. That's the other thing. So I won the first tournament the guy held. And during it, there were a few questions that would pop up that he didn't quite know. So, like, I kind of, like, stepped in and was like, oh, this is how that works. Just so you know, you can double check it. It should be in this part of the rule book. But that's how that interaction works. And then I went back to my game. And I did that so often that, like, this last time I went, I was like playing the game, and the person standing next to me who was there at that first tournament would keep like turning to me and being like, hey, just double checking with you. The joke is that I'm like the second judge, but I'm in the tournament. I was actually like in the middle of a play, and I think he even like had a question that he didn't know the answer to, so he like came over to me to bring it up. I I was like, oh no. It's happening. Yeah, that would be the ideal. Teach my buddy how to play, get him into the whole thing, and then contact him one day and be like, yo, if you're not busy this Saturday of this coming month, and you're cool like swinging down for like 7 hours, we got a tournament to play in, bro. Just like old times. I think he played in 2 tournaments with that Tyranids list. Oh yeah, he played once at the Ice House tournament we went to. And then he played at this bookstore we found up north. There was like a tournament we heard about it, just this random bookstore. That was crazy. That bookstore is not around anymore. But when I say it was a bookstore tournament, like, how do I describe this? So the bookstore was in a row house. So it was like pretty deep. Like it was a pretty good distance from the front of the store to the back of the store, but it wasn't wide. It was a little bit cramped. But they had, in like a straight line to the back of the store, a bunch of tables for 40K. And on both sides of the table, there was like a small walking path and then just bookshelves. So it was this weird like coffee shop vibe tournament that was like shoulder to shoulder a little bit. Very awkward setup. It was cool though. We didn't know that place existed. Someone just brought it up one day when we were at a different game. Made us want to try it out. I'm not sure what I'm seeing here. This is like the biggest issue with this detachment. I'm not sure what the trim looks like where I did all the flames, because the flames kind of screw with my eyes. Alright, so I procured one game tomorrow. I might post up that I could play a second game if anyone's interested, because I'm most likely just going to stay in that area until my friend is cool to like let people over, because he lives right next to that store, but he can't really do anything till like 7 p.m. on Fridays. So like I basically just sit at that store. I wonder what I should do. I wonder what I should take with me. I could take my Helldrakes. We painted the backs of the Helldrakes, but I still got to paint their underbellies. I've been holding off painting their underbellies, because they're Helldrakes. I'm most likely never going to use them in competitive play. They're cool as hell, though. I love them. Helldrakes are fantastic models. The rules are just not great. Stream Boo viewers. Oh, Broshi got him. Nice. Broshi sitting in the shadows like Batman. Time is it? 4? A little bit of time. I do need to get ready today. I gotta pack just the right amount of stuff. How long have we been streaming? I've been slow cooking chicken for a while. Still got some time. Oh, I do hate me some trim work, though. I'm so glad that I picked a way different method of painting Thousand Suns. If I had to do all that gold trim work by hand, oh. Thank you to Duncan Rhodes for highly suggesting not painting trim work and instead just painting everything gold and then doing layer paint into the panels. Such a better structural system to get that stuff set up. Yeah, it's probably best seen on my Helldrake, which I can grab in a second. So yeah, this thing starts its life gold. And then I put contrast into the actual paneling. And then over time, I left it like that, and I wasn't really thinking that much about it. And then I started looking at it again, and I was like, I kind of want to do something brighter, something a little more, like, stand outish. So I went back in recently, and I started doing layer paints. Take him off of his stand. This is what it looks like normally. This is the contrast in the actual gold. So it's just flat gold, contrast added. And then the layer paint's applied. Yep. I had to pick pretty much what I wanted to do here. So we got, I want to say this is Techless. So we did Techless here, and then we picked a red that I had over here. Can't remember which red we picked. But there's variants because my Thousand Suns are blue, purple, and burgundy. So this is the burgundy upgrade to red. And then there's a purple upgrade to red as well. Or purple upgrade as well. Let's get this champion going. Just a champion. I do feel like I probably shouldn't have picked this detachment color. I like the idea of it, but I feel like we could have done something a little more interesting with the airbrush work. Like we could have done them all as like a faded variant. Like a purple to pink fade. I got so tied up wanting to try to make something basic, like a recognizable detachment that wasn't normal. Like, there's going to be people who see it and immediately go like, ooh, Bleak Brotherhood. And it's like, yep. Now those people are going to be a little rare, of course. But I honestly probably could have just picked like a really nice looking fade. Just started it from there. So I think we're all pretty sure that the Raptors kill team is going to allow you to either take 6 units with a champion or 5 units with a Chaos Lord. I am really wondering what the Chaos Lord stats are going to be like. Super interested in that, if I'm not lying. I kind of want to see like the variant of it, because to my understanding, right, like the Patriarch for Brood Brothers is very powerful. Jump Pack Lord. Bigger base. No, for kill team. Because you can compare this guy definitely to just regular Raptors, of course. But how does he translate for kill team? Because he's the larger base. From the pictures we've seen, it makes it appear as though choosing him means you can't take 2 Raptors. You have to completely, get rid of them. You have to drop down to 5 total instead of 6. So, I mean, they could do so much with him. They could 4 APL him, let you double activate. It's going to be so weird. Nah, the AOD captain is already, like... You can take an AOD captain and then you still have your full AOD team. But, like, I think they're going to soup up his wounds. They're most likely going to give him, like, some weird extra benefit. Because it might be a little bit closer to the scale of Brood Brothers, where you lose a handful of people if you take, like, the Patriarch. Because the Patriarch is just super necessary into certain enemy types. Activates twice, is able to make enemies do things. One of the few base 4 APL units in the game. Could be interesting. Whatever he's able to do, it's going to have to make up for a loss of at the very least 2 AP, if not 3. Yeah, nobody likes Jump Lords. They did the new model and everyone got kind of excited. Then they saw his rules and just immediately killed the excitement. My conversion for him was the AOS. These are the Demon Prince spike racks from AOS. So he's a lot taller than he should be. And Death Guard do not like jump packs. Slow, beefy. I play EC, and I remember before the codex or any information was out about them, I was thinking about buying a ton of Raptors. I was like, oh, there's no way that there's not going to be Raptors in EC. There's no way. It's going to be impossible. How naive I was. Horus Heresy stuff looks nice. My Fulgrim is Horus Heresy. I put him on the bigger base. I also use the Horus Heresy Proteus as a Land Raider, which I try not to do in tournament play because people might complain about its size difference. But the only alternative is that frickin' that giant boat of a tank that's like twice the size of a Land Raider. No, yeah, Horus Heresies are great for vehicles. I have both my Rhinos in EC are Horus Heresy. If they gave EC Predators, I would have bought Horus Heresy Predators as well. I already have one 40k Predator, though, and that's for my Thousand Sons. I think I need to get another one. Because it is looking like the armor detachment might be the best way to go for my Thousand Sons. So I kind of would need 2 Predators. I probably almost have store credit at the one store local to me, so I might be able to get it there. The running joke about Rhinos and 40k is that like everything, all like the box sets usually come with like 1 or 2 Rhinos in it. So there was a time where if you went to a tournament and you were like, ah, crap, I forgot my Rhino. And you said it out loud, there'd be like 4 people nearby you who would walk over and just hand you Rhinos. Like fully unpainted, just completely together. I'm surprised they haven't. So they did a mini of the month for what, the Titanicus variant of the game, where they gave you a Rhino for it, but it was like a Titanicus one. They got to do a full one, man. Just have that one day happen where you show up to the store and you're like, what's the mini of the month? They're like, a whole rhino. You get one full rhino. Because they do, like, they do events and stuff, like, you know, pledges and things. Where they got the Thanksgiving is coming up. A lot of stores are doing Thanksgiving. Our local store was doing Thanksgiving far before, like, it became a more naturalized into the 40K Games Workshop system setup. Like, how crazy would that be if, like, everyone that participated in Thanksgiving just got, like, a free rhino? Trickle down rhinonomics. So Thanksgiving was something we did for a few years, for at least the years that I went to the store, and then even before then, where everyone kind of gets a vehicle and you just play against each other. And I think the last year it was like 1,000 points of vehicles and monsters in particular. And then you just, everyone gets on one giant field and tries to play against each other. Which usually just turns into like, don't shoot me, I'm your neighbor. Let's, you know, shoot these other people over here. And it's a bunch of people posturing and no one rolling dice for attacks. This year he's doing something, though, to try to force people to want to actually get into combat. So that'll be fun. I just remember when the guy next to me decided to melta one of my my knights that I was sending down to the other side of the field. He just did it out of randomness. He was like, but you're chaos. And the moment he shot me, I basically took his shadow sword from full to like 1 health left. It's like, dude, you didn't have to. You didn't have to spark my ire. This current one that they're doing is actually in-house, though. So you get, like, tokens and things for taking part in the event. You have to pledge a vehicle and show up with it. It's just one vehicle. So there's a bunch of people showing up with apparently Helldrakes locally, which is weird to me. So many people have basically spat upon the name of the Helldrake for the longest time. Oh, dude, I desecrated a vehicle to almost death. I killed Mortarion with a desecrator. I just ran over to it and full punched it to death. Hit him with like 36 wounds. So it's like, alright, take your feel no pains. We had a Warhound and a Phantom on the field, or whatever the Eldari version of a Titan is. I was trying to go for the Aldari Titan. That was my point. I needed to get my Desecrator within 48 inches of it, I think. Which required me to move for 2 turns, and then I could open fire on it. That was my whole point. That was my whole purpose. And had the Imperial Guard next to me not shot me, that's exactly what I would have done. I wanted to attempt to put some wounds on the board. Oh, dude, okay, so I play the Vashdor list out of CSM, Moon. I play the Vashdor list. I imagine you're familiar with it. Potentially. It's the, specifically the hammer. The Warp Forge or whatever. Not the Dark Pact one, the Warp Forge one. And I feel like by turn 2, all of my vehicles are at half. And none of them ever take any attacks. So, it's the same thing, you Dark Pact stuff, but you hit them with addendums. Like, you do a tempting addendum, and you also do an enhanced pack. Enhanced pack, I think, reduces their leadership. It changes their leadership check. It makes it harder. And then tempting addendum adds damage on top of the damage you roll for. So, like, with that list, it's +1 to wound, reroll all, I want to say, wound rolls? Or hit rolls. It's one of the others with tempting addendum. Yeah. Yeah. And I do 2 Forge Fiends, a Mauler Fiend. I have a Defiler, a bunch of Hellbrutes. I usually run like 1 Helldrake, and then 2 Rhinos and 3 squads of Cultists, so I can sit on points. But yeah, turn 2, all my tanks are at half. Every single one of them. Because I fail every pact every time, and I max roll damage into me. I did that for a whole tournament. 3 whole games. I just couldn't make a single Soulforge pack without hurting myself. Yep. Yep. It has such fun potential, though. Like, I actually run, unironically, at least 1 Helldrake in that list. Because you get the 1 command point ability to make a vehicle go through buildings. So you get the 20-inch move on a Helldrake, and you can't be blocked by buildings for 1 command point. Then when you get it into combat, you try to go for something that can fly. That's a big thing. It's a big thing. Because the Helldrake gets +1 to hit into flying units. So his melee is hitting on 2s, right? His melee is also anti-fly too, and dev wounds. So you packed for the +2 to the attacks. And I've been able to like 1-tap Demon Princes. It's great. Points wise, they're expensive. I mean, they're cost wise, they're also expensive. Because if points wise they're expensive and you don't want to use them because of that, then it just adds to you not wanting to use them. I have 2. My original plan with the Helldrake list was to actually run 2 of them. And turn 1, you send 1 in as like a magic missile to kill something. And then turn 2, you do the same thing with the other. It was a fun rushdown idea. I actually used it into an Imperial Guard army. Oh, they're even expensive in the U.S. What are they in the U.S.? I probably have to check and see if one of the local stores that has like all the old models. There's a store near me that if they buy a model, right? And this is how it should really be done. If they buy a model and then no one buys it, it's $89 US. If they buy a model, no one buys it, they just leave it on the shelf, and they don't change the price as the price goes up. So I got like a Sigvald for like $70 or something. It was great. But this guy, because of its size, is able to multi-charge into like so much stuff. So turn 1, normally what I did into an Imperial Guard player rather, is I had these things hidden behind like the terrain setups where you have like the flat wall terrain, because they're in hover mode. They count as basically being on field. They're not aircraft anymore. So I just had them sitting there, you know, chilling. It's great. And then turn 1, I just rushed both of them 20 inches into an enemy. And just held... Since he was Imperial Guard, I basically declared multi-charges. I was like, alright, I'm charging that squad and these 2 tanks, because the wingtips could get to the tanks, and then he could get to people. Because the way it's worded, the way the rules are supposedly worded, is this is base to base for, like, enemies. So technically, you just get these, like, fingers of base to base coming off the side. So long as you get to, like, the base itself, you can bring so many more vehicles and stuff underneath of them. And I locked down, like, a Basilisk, a friggin' Rogel Dorn. Like, I locked all that stuff down in one go. My EC palette is extremely RGB. These guys are just kill team. But the Emperor's Children palette that I usually run, I ended up not using these guys. I was going to use them as fiends, but I opted out. Is the bright pink and the actual render. But yeah, these guys are just kill team. They're not even related to any other team that I'm painting. Because you can't run these guys in Thousand Suns. You can't run them in EC. Or you're talking about the Helldrake. The Helldrake is for CSM and Thousand Suns. I did go to a tournament as EC when the Codex got launched. And there was a guy that did run a Helldrake, because for at least I think the first couple days after the Codex launched, Helldrakes had a 2-up armor save in EC. That was something they had to fix, and they fixed it almost immediately. Just not for the tournament we ran. Because I think they let us do it from the codexes from the early release boxes. Honestly, for EC, I do feel like the main missed thing that they really should have figured out was bikes. Like EC, when you tell me like EC, the first thing I think of is Doom Rider and bikes. I mean, Lucius is there, that's cool and all, but like Doom Rider plus bikes equals Emperor's Children in my head. And the fact that for the longest time, I kept hearing people talk about the desire to get new Chaos Space Marine bikes. Oh yeah, us losing Forge Fiends was also weird. I do feel like they're trying to change something, though, about some vehicles. Like, In the US, it's hard to get a Hellbrute outside of a box set. So I feel like they might be trying to change up the Hellbrute concepts to allow for individual god loadouts, as opposed to what it is now, which is just a ton of loadouts no one wants to use. So what they could do is reintroduce the Hellbrute to EC while also being like, here's the Psyker variant for Thousand Suns, here's the melee variant that has like dual chain axes or something for World Eaters, and like, you know, you get the variants based on the gods, and then you build them. Whenever you buy a Hellbrute, you're like, oh, I need this for my Thousand Suns, so let me slap the really cool force weapon staff that it carries, and then the hand with the flamethrower in it that's kind of like a psychic attack. That's like the two main things I feel like they need to do, is figure out the way that the Hellbrute can fit into all the gods, the individual god sections, where it doesn't feel crappy. Because right now, I think World Eaters is the strongest. I think second strongest might be Death Guard or Chaos Space Marines. Might be tied. And then the Thousand Suns one is hot garbage. And then there's no EC one. Whereas if they gave the EC one like a bunch of noise things, like a bunch of speakers, and was like, oh, if people are within X range of it, they have to take psychic tests or leadership checks or something. Like, it just feels better. Give it like a slightly enhanced profile of a weapon from a Noise Marine squad. Just be a little bit better. That's all we need. That and, like, bikes. The bike relaunch should have happened with the EC launch. It feels like the biggest missed opportunity. Yeah, the 11th edition release, according to like a lot of the quote-unquote leaks and guesses and all that, hopefully it does pan out kind of the way that I've been reading into it, where the focus is mostly going to be on just, you know, refining what 10th did so well that it pulled in tons of new players. Like, if it can refine that, then the system will probably be very healthy going forward. Because, like, some of the people that have been coming into the store that play, like, it's sort of shocking. Like, it's a little shocking. Like, the vision people have of, like, what a 40k nerd is, like, absolutely shattered by, like, some of the people that come in. And they're new. Like, they're just absolutely new to the game. As long as they don't screw up going forward, I think we'll be fine. We'll see. I mean, it absolutely helped their cause to be doing, like, decent things. Literally around the time that the parent company for D&D was like, how do we screw our customer base over? Like, they couldn't have picked a better time to have done any of what they did. Than when pointing at, like, their tabletop competitor and being like, check out what they're doing. I know with equipment points they tried to sort of bring it back in. I don't know how they're going to do it well, though. The simplification to try not to, like, confuse people is good. I will always agree on that. But, like, wasn't it Tau where the realization was that one of the loadouts for the battlesuits was just so good that if you increased the points cost to equate to what the power is of that unit, it would make the other variant just absolutely useless. So no one would ever take those battlesuits. So they just split the cards. And they kind of did the same thing with Enlightened, because, like, you're never going to take Enlightened with spears over Enlightened with bows for the value. So they split their cards up. But I don't think that that's the way to do it, right? Because if, like what you're saying, like, why would there be a Chaos Lord with a Chainsword card and a Chaos Lord with a Demon Hammer card, when that would imply that I could take, like, 3 Chaos Lords with Chainswords for whatever that bonus is, and then 3 Chaos Lords with Demon Hammers for maybe the same bonus? Like, if it's a really good bonus that they give, that just means I'm getting way cooler bonuses. From the Thousand Sun side of things, almost all sorcerers can now take Copishes. But, like, you have to choose to take a Copish. There's no downside to taking the Copish. Still gotta choose to do it. So why is it even a choice? Why not just say that they all have Copishes? Or you make it so the Copish variant costs, like, 2 points more. That does get into some weird territory, though. I do remember the times of maximizing units by taking, like, one guy for the unit and then giving it a specific item, and then the whole purpose of that unit is to do something very specific for scoring, and then that's it. So, like, you get to the sort of, like, the super sweat tier, and that's just not fun for people, like, new people. It's fun for the people who love to super sweat. But everyone out there that would much rather prefer, like, not having to think in super sweat terms kind of puts them off. So you gotta, it's hard to meet both, right? Like, it's hard to meet in the middle. And as a person who likes video games that are very difficult, I do get to watch pretty consistently games go from, like, we want the game to be like that difficult feeling that gives you enough stress that, you know, you build up all the work you're putting in, and then you have that dopamine hit when something succeeds and it's great. It's like, yeah, I love that. And then they start making it more and more casual because they need to expand their user base, and the casualification causes the difficulty to go down, and it kind of like paves over the skill spiking and stuff, and eventually you just get a game where it's like it plays itself and it's no longer fun. So, like, finding that middle ground of, like, super high skill ceiling while also having a pretty low skill floor that's, like, fine. It's not bad, honestly. Do I gotta do the lilac for this? What demon skin tone do we think we want to do? I think I want to do a lilac. I think a lilac could be good. Well, they could make it bad, like how they did, what was it? The cultists. Because cultists used to have different weapons and variables, and now that it's all just cult weapons, and it's the same melee and the same ranged. And there's just no variance at all. They'll call it like a Chaos Lord melee, and it'll just be like, pick whatever one you want. It'll be 4 attacks hitting on 2s, AP 2, damage 3 or something. Like, you just don't get a choice really for the profile. You just can make it look different. I think that's when it'll probably have gone too far, is when they're just like, Chaos Lord pistol. It's kind of like a plasma pistol, and you can make it look like a bolter if you feel like it. Alright, so yeah, for the fleshy stuff, I think we'll start from a lilac state. Go from there. They gave us the cultist leader. They gave us that flamethrower as a leader that no one wants to use because it's not that great. Like, why would I give someone access to the assassinate mission, like, right off the rip? Just like, oh yeah, I got cultist leaders, so I guess you can go get assassinate super quick. Have fun. Yeah, I'm playing. We do have a crusade going, although because of the upcoming tournament, the guy running the crusade hasn't exactly been on point about keeping the crusade going. We got past the initial hump, the 1,000 point hump, so we should be going up to 2,000 points, but I haven't heard anything about that, because I do kind of want to give myself a demon, a greater demon of Tzeentch. No, yeah, this is technically a hobby group for friends. I think it's like maybe 10 people playing a crusade. If my local friends had enough people playing, we'd probably play a crusade, because it'd be kind of fun for us to like keep track of that stuff. We've been playing, what was it? We played Cursed City. We just got the expansion for it. So we're going to try to finish the expansion at some point here. I think we're going to start the expansion this weekend. We've got some 40k to play, and then I think we're going to kick it with some expansion. And then we got Blackstone Fortress to play. And if they all had armies, or at least wanted to play, because like I've got 2,000, a little over 2,000 points of GSC. I've got like 3,000 points of Knights, 3,000 or 4,000 points of Thousand Suns, about 3,000 points of Emperor's Children. My buddy has like 4 2,000 point lists for a bunch of things. Like we could easily play Crusade if we just had people who are like, yo, I'll play those Harlequins. It's something we've always said. Like, I'd gladly let someone run my Knights lists if they wanted to play in a Crusade with us. Like, some of our friends who don't really know how to play, I feel like Knights would be a great way for them to just be like, oh, I'm getting into it. Not a lot to move around, not a lot of rules to have to pay attention to. Phone call. Oh, I love random phone calls. And yeah, knights are awesome for new players. Although knights and custodes are awesome with caveats. Like, if someone plays custodes and then they're like, oh, I really like this game, and then they don't play custodes, like they don't pick custodes as their army, like they switch to something just completely different, and they're like, oh, this will be great. If they learn a bunch of bad habits with custodes or knights, and then those habits translate to whatever else they're playing, they're not going to have a good time. Like, you do not play Gene Stealer Cult the same way that you play custodes. Like, you just don't. But yeah, forming bad habits with overstated units and stuff is not good. So like our one buddy, he's been playing my friend's custodes, and I think he's gonna... I'm bringing my 1,000 Suns, and then I'm bringing my Knights. So he's gonna pick between the two. He's probably gonna pick Knights. So he's kind of leaning into the bad habits. Like, I started with 1,000 Suns, so I got used to that 5-up invuln. Like, my plans would always include the risk of having to make, like, a handful of invuln saves. And then when I start doing that in my GSC, it's like, oh, wait, I can't. It's actually a bad idea to do that with GSC. Also, I think either my crystals just got here. I think my crystals just got here. I'm not going to be around this weekend, so... Well, maybe Sunday. So we might try to base these guys on Sunday. Unless I also get the Canoptic Court. If we get Canoptic Court, then I got to build and paint those for my one friend. No, yeah. Being okay with units dying is very useful. Specifically, building lists under the assumption, like, I think that's a key thing for people who are learning to get into the game, is writing a list to be like, all right, these 2 units are cool dying, right? Like, you get a handful of them. Like, I'll usually lean into, like, Chaos Spawn or Zangors as Thousand Suns to be like, I'm cool with this guy dying, right? Like, that's fine. My Chaos Spawn will run out, they'll do a mission, whatever. I'll do it with Chaos Spawn more often than Zangors because Thousand Sun Chaos Spawn have invulnerable saves on top of the Feel No Pains. And they regenerate. So if you don't kill one, you've just wasted all your attacks. Because it's just going to go back to full. So you kind of have to overexert to kill a Thousand Suns Chaos Spawn, which is super fun. I might take my tablet. My tablet was doing a weird thing where its video driver would like start vibrating the screen, and then I had to like full repair install Windows on it, and it seems to be doing fine now. So I might take my tablet with me to my buddy's house so I can pull up the army list on it. No, yeah. When you paint your minis up to look really good, but the squad that looks really good is one where you're like, that one needs to die right away to this mission. It always feels bad. Like, the amount of effort I put into my Helldrakes, the Helldrakes are supposed to, on my team, I'm supposed to find a unit to kill with them, and then kill it. That's the whole point. Turn 1, they're supposed to run in and cause issues for at least a turn, if not 2 turns. There we go. The flat flesh. So yeah, I put all this work and effort into my Helldrakes, only to be like, I'm going to keep them on the table for 1 turn. And then they're going to die. But yeah, that's list building. Being like, alright, let me take these. Let me take these Chaos Spawn because I know they're going to die. I'll go for it. I got a Discord if you're in it. I think you're in it. Kind of remember the name. If you just joined it, I have to give you a rank, though, before you can post. But yeah, you can drop stuff. We might actually need to try to work on my my Secret Robot conversions. We might need to work on them. I was waiting to see how easy... I think you joined. All right, hang on. Hiya. Ad roll. Neophyte. Wave. All right, you can post. There should be a mini whips channel. You can just drop them in. So I was waiting for the Secret Robots to actually come out, but it's been a while and they're still not out. So, well, they're out, but they're not local. So I might need to finish these. I didn't want to finish them because I don't like them. I feel like I didn't need to do this Zangor chest piece thing. That's actually a really sad part of them for me. feel like there's got to be an AdMech Horus Heresy thing I can buy that I would be much more okay with. I don't like how the Psychic robots look like. Oh, also, I don't know how many people know this. Mini of the Month is a Chaos Dwarf. So, my last Exalted Sorcerer on a disc is a Chaos Dwarf. Changed his spear out for a basic Thousand Suns staff head. Gave him the little casting scrolls. Sacrificial dagger on the back. I might try to see if you can put a lot of the Exalted Sorcerers have that like thing on the back of their head. I might try to see if I can fit that here. But yeah, I remembered I had an extra disc. I figured it would be cool to have like a little Exalted Chaos Dwarf. Super funsies. Post in my local Discord as well. You have posted. Let's go take a look. This is where it's horrifying. Ooh. Open link. Doot, 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 doot. No, not that. There we go. Little low res, but I imagine that's thanks to Discord compression. Yeah, nice. You're doing the, you're doing like, are you trying to make it look like this is the color of the armor, but it's rotting away? Or are you trying to make this look like oxidization on top of brass? Which is what I think you're trying to do here. Okay. So the armor color is teal, and then there's rust everywhere. Okay. I have to say, this is like a bit overboard for oxidization. But going from teal to rust is pretty cool. It's kind of like the approach I had for my Death Guard for the kill team that I made. Let me go grab one before we pop off. So the approach for my Death Guard, which were some of the first things I painted when I got back for kill teamy stuff. So the idea was that they would be brass statues, but that there was like a layer of algae forming over the top of them. So I kind of painted them all brass, and then I hit them with a dark ink to a lime green ink. And that's how I paint my Death Guard. And then I have, when they changed the rules for them in Kill Team with the new release, I decided to take some Blight Lords. No. Okay, there you go. Did some Blight Lords, added some Death Guard parts to them, like the shoulder. This is my Spellcaster. With the similar function of brass getting covered in algae. But yeah, Death Guard, Rusty. Rust is always good. Rust is always good. Teal is an underused color. All the best teams that use teal would be like Drakari. I think like Drakari is the main one that's like, teal is awesome, and then they use it everywhere, and it does look awesome. Ooh, a nice 1,000 Suns. Yep, 508. I'm gonna have to get moving to clean up a little bit. Check the chicken I'm cooking. I gotta go get gas. Ugh. So much to do. And then yeah, games all weekend. I think I just got the crystals shipped, but can't really just start working on them right now. So until next time, everyone, thanks for chilling, thanks for talking. Hopefully one day I'll be able to get some videos out on the YouTube channel. I'm still trying to debate what to do about that, and it has taken a while. I still don't have a clue, so till then, later.